Hello, cocodrilos y familias. I hope you and yours have a fabulous day. Cocodrilos, the book that I bring you today is about a teacher and the love she has for her students. And of course, the students love her back. Such a cute story. Thank you to the author and illustrator for reminding us the role teachers play in children's lives. Thank you. Let's read, cocodrilos. Let's. Mrs. McBee leaves room 3. Written by Gretchen, Brandenburg, McLellan. Illustrated by Zong. A gray sigh from room 3 echoed down the halls of Mayflower Elementary. They hurt, said the principal. They hurt, said the custodian. They hurt, said the lunch ladies. Mrs. McBee had just told her class that she would not be returning to school after summer vacation. But you won't get to see me again, said Jamaica. Or hear me read, said Max. Or see how much bigger I grew, said Lou. You can't go, William said. Nothing will ever be the same without you. I won't be far away, said Mrs. McBee. But you know, it's time to squeaky clean your desk and get the rest of the room ready too. Ready for what? Flora asked. For our time together to end, said Mrs. McBee. What can we do? Jamaica asked. Mrs. McBee dragged a lumpy bag to the front of the room. Things clattered as she fished around inside. She pulled out a clipboard. What else is in there? Jamaica asked. Hard hats and other surprises, said Mrs. McBee. But before I show you, I need construction experts, librarians, packers, peddlers, movers, and animal experts too. Maybe they can find the missing library mouse. Mrs. McBee's eyes twinkled. Will you help me? Everyone nodded. Everyone except William. Who wants to be my assistant? Mrs. McBee asked. I do, Jamaica said. Mrs. McBee passed her the clipboard and Jamaica signed up everyone for a team. Everyone except William, who sat with his chin on his knee in the thinking corner. The teams got to work. The construction expert made boxes. The librarian organized books. William's not helping, Jamaica told Mrs. McBee. Give him time, honey, Mrs. McBee said. Jamaica huffed. The packers filled the boxes. The spellers labeled them. And the movers lined them up. William's not helping, Jamaica complained. He'll come around, said Mrs. McBee. Jamaica huffed again, louder. The animal expert released the walking sticks and the butterflies outside. They found the missing mouse and carried it back to its whirly wheel in the library. William's still not helping, Jamaica reported again. He's working on it, said Mrs. McBee. Jamaica huffed as loud as a hurricane. When all the boxes were closed and labeled and carted away, the children looked around room 3. They frowned. It's so empty, said Max. It's lonely, said Lou. It's sad, Flora sighed. I can't remember what it used to look like, Jamaica cried. Mrs. McBee gathered them close. Children, This is called a bittersweet moment. It's like swirly ice cream with sad and happy twisted together. We're sad about saying goodbye, but we're happy about what's ahead. Like playing all day, and swimming, and camping, and reading, said Mrs. McBee. But when summer is over, we'll be back here, Flora said, without you. That's true, said Mrs. McBee. But you'll be excited about meeting your new teacher and making new friends in a brand new grade. And you'll have each other, too. In the silence that followed, she said, thank you all for helping me today. Jamaica whipped her arm through the air. William didn't help, she protested. Where's that William? Mrs. McBee asked. Jamaica shrugged and pointed to the big lumpy bag at the front of the room. Mrs. McBee, you still haven't shown us what's left in there. Everything, Jamaica, in its own sweet time, said Mrs. McBee. Just then, the custodian carried one box back into room 3. It was marked to Mrs. McBee. It wiggled. Mrs. McBee lifted the lid. A yellow hard hat popped up like a jack in the box. Hi, William, said Mrs. McBee. Jamaica stamped her foot. See? All William did was play all day. Mrs. McBee asked, is that true, William? He shook his head. Then he held out a stack of pictures for everyone to see. The children gathered around William and his pictures. There's Mrs. McBee playing her guitar, said Flora. And us reading, said Max. In room 3, the way it used to be, Jamaica sighed. Mrs. McBee, Jamaica said. William was helping all along. He was helping us remember. I know, said Mrs. McBee. Every one of you has your own special way of helping, just as every one of you has your own way of saying goodbye. She knocked on the top of William's hard hat and smiled. I made something else, William said, but you have to close your eyes. Mrs. McBee squeezed her eyes shut tight. No peeking, Jamaica said. All the kids signed William's card. You can look now, the children told Mrs. McBee. Mrs. McBee held the card close. This is beautiful, she said softly. But I wasn't the only one who made room 3 special. It was all of us, together, helping each other grow. Room 3 needed the special magic of each and every one of you. She opened her arms wide. It's time for a McBeehive hug, she said. The custodian, the principal, and the lunch ladies joined in the hug, too. For the most special teacher in the whole world. And they top off the day with swirly ice cream cones. The end. What a beautiful story about Mrs. McBee and the impact she has on the children, on the principal, on the custodian. Imagine that one person, the impact they have on others. May you have a Mrs. McBee in your life. May you be inspired to be kind, to be loving, to be the best version of yourself. Thank you, author. Thank you, illustrator. Thank you to all the teachers that are like Mrs. McBee. You're making a difference, and it matters, and it counts. Thank you. Cocodrilos y familias, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing, for giving me your likes, for sharing, for leaving me comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day, cocodrilos. Hasta luego.